Welcome to 2024, and we're well into the year now. For those of you who are taking the IELTS test this year, this is the video for you. If you have a test planned or scheduled in 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 months, then you need to watch this video because it will help you to plan your preparation schedule. And in this video, I'm going to give you some tips for IELTS preparation in 2024. Let's dive straight into it with the first tip. I would suggest that the first thing you do before anything else is to create a study plan for yourself. Now, the study plan will depend on how confident you are in your English. Just think about how well you can use English. This will give you an idea of how much time you need to prepare. For example, if you know that you have excellent English and you can use English quite comfortably without really thinking about it, that's the highest level, and obviously you need less time to prepare. However, even if your English is really good, don't think that you can just walk into the test and get the best score. Some preparation will allow you to fulfill your whole potential. If you're already at this high level, I recommend that you still assign 3 to 4 weeks of exam preparation before your real test. Keep watching this video so that you know what things you need to work on. That's the high level. Now, in the middle, let's say your English is good enough. You can use English quite confidently, but you know that it's kind of not completely perfect and you still get stuck at times. If you are moderately confident in your English, but you still see room for improvement, I suggest a preparation period of about 10 to 12 weeks. And then moving on, if you are in the third level where basically you know that you need to improve in your English, you're not so confident speaking or writing, then of course your preparation time is going to be longer. I would suggest at this level people consider allocating 15 weeks or more to prepare. The next question then, of course, is what do I put into my IELTS preparation program? The first place to start then is to master the 5 fundamental skills you need for a high score in IELTS. There are 4 key areas that you need to practice in order to get a high score in IELTS. These are number 1, vocabulary, number 2, grammar, number 3, organisation, and number 4, pronunciation. Your study program therefore needs to allocate focused time on these 4 points. Each week you should have at least 1 session on each of these. I do have a whole video on how to grow your vocabulary, so when you've watched this video, why not check that one out so that you know exactly what you need to do in order to grow your vocabulary. I'll put a card up here in this point, and I'll also put a link in the video description. The next thing you need to do is get some practice tests and do practice tests. I suggest that you do 5 practice tests for each section. So that would be 5 whole listening, 5 whole reading tests. Now, you don't have to do them all in one go. For example, a whole reading test consists of 3 individual texts. Now, rather than do the whole 3 together, you might just want to spend 20 or 30 minutes practicing one reading text from one test, and then maybe the next day go to the second reading text, and so on. The same goes with listening. In terms of writing, you should do 5 task 1 questions and 5 task 2 questions. And then with speaking, you should practice that part 2 speaking section of the test. That is where you have to speak for 2 minutes. Now, at least practice those 5 times. In fact, I would suggest practicing them a little bit longer, more than that. The good news, of course, is that it only takes 2 minutes to practice one of those part 2s. So even if you practice part 2 20 or 25 times, it's not going to take up too much of your time. Of course, with practice tests, there is the question of where do I get hold of practice tests? Now, I've said this in other videos. Personally, I don't think that going on the internet and getting a free practice test is actually the best idea because they're not always authentic. The best place to look is the Cambridge English Practice Test series. They publish books with CDs and audio where you can do the practice there. If you can't afford the money for a practice test book, the best place for free practice tests is to go to IELTS.org, and they do have some sample questions that you can use there. Once again, I'll put the link in the description to that. The last tip about preparing for IELTS is how you actually organise your preparation programme. And to me, the best way to do it is to work on the short but often principle. If you try and do 3 or 4 hours of intense preparation, you're going to get tired, your brain will not absorb the information, and you're basically working against yourself. What's more, a 3 or 4 hour study session is a bit of a burden, and because it sounds too heavy, we are much more likely to procrastinate. So keep your study sessions to about 20 or 25 minutes, take a break and just do 2 or 3. I would actually say a maximum of 3 25-minute sessions with breaks in between would be plenty. In fact, it's probably better to increase the frequency, that is, do 20 or 25 minutes every day rather than 50 minutes 3 days a week. But obviously this will depend on you, your own situation, your preferences, and you know how your mind works and how much you can concentrate. But the point here is once you know how many weeks you're going to spend on your preparation, then get your weekly diary out, work out the times and the days when you will do IELTS preparation, and slot those in as a time block. They are the 4 tips for preparing for IELTS this year. Make a study plan based on your confidence in English. Focus on vocabulary, grammar, organisation and pronunciation. Do plenty of practice tests. And schedule your study sessions frequently but in manageable time pieces. If you found this video useful, remember to subscribe to the IELTS Breakthrough YouTube channel. We offer tips and strategies for anyone taking the IELTS test, that is academic, general training or life skills. These tips will help you to improve your score. It's all completely free and you just need to subscribe, hit the like button and the notifications so that you know when the tips come up. Thank you so much for watching all this way and have a wonderful day, week, afternoon, morning, or weekend or whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video.